Hi guys, got another briefing video for you here for our Tuesday workout. This session is for Tuesday the 24th, coming Tuesday. The plan for that session is that we've broken it up into 3 10-minute EMOMs. So you've got every minute on the minute, 10 minutes there, 2-minute rest, and then the same again here, 2-minute rest, same again at the end. Remember that every minute on the minute format means that you've essentially got a minute's window for each of these sections here. So for example, on this first bit, you've got a minute to do 10 squat jumps, and on this second bit, you'll be working for 30 seconds doing press-ups, and that means then you'll rest for 30 seconds before you start again. So just remember, you're not going straight from one thing to another, you start on the minute every time. Like I say, you've got those 2-minute rests in there. This second section, you've got 20 seconds of weighted step-ups, but that's on each leg. So you're going to do 20 seconds on one leg and then 20 seconds on the other, so you'll be working for 40 seconds there. Once you've done that, you've got 30 seconds of bench dips to do, so again that will be 30 seconds working, 30 seconds resting, and then for the last part you'll do 10 reps of weighted glute bridges, and then that will go straight into a 20-second bridge hold. So if you just keep your eye on your timer or keep your eye on your clock, from whatever time you start you'll then do 20 seconds of that hold. And then the last bit, you've got 20 to 40 seconds of a front leaning rest. So obviously you can choose how long you want to go on with that, and that will partially be, I imagine, dependent on how tired you are, but also how difficult the scaling options that you choose for the front leaning rests are, because there's different ways you can make it harder or easier. But I'd say aim to go towards the higher mark for time there if possible. We go into a bit more a specific breakdown. We've got the squat jumps and the press-ups that are in there at the start. So with those squat jumps, we've only got 10 reps to do within the minute, but we're looking for 10 jumps where you're going as high as you can every time. So it's a single jump, you'll come down, you jump as high as you can out of your squat position, you'll land, reset, go again, and then it'll be a squat, jump as high as you can out of the squat position. So we're not looking to link them together, we're looking for max height on each of those jumps, hence why it's only 10 in that round. With your press-ups, remember they can be done as a full press-up, so you can go straight arms, chest to the floor, back to straight arms, or you can do the same from your knees. That's pretty much the same thing, just a little bit easier. And remember, we're looking for the whole body to move together as you do those reps, and we want to try and squeeze the shoulders together on the way down, and then press them apart on the way up, so I've got control, squeeze my shoulders together, and press them back apart as I come back up to the top. With those 30 seconds of press-ups, and the same with the bench dips that we're going to go on to later, if you break them up a little bit, that's not the end of the world. Obviously they do burn out quite quickly, and if you want to do a challenging progression, it might be that you can't do the full 30 seconds unbroken, but A, aim to try and get as much of it unbroken as you can, and B, make sure that it doesn't end up that you're doing maybe 5 or 10 seconds worth of reps there. We do want to try and fill as much of that 30 seconds as we can. Going into the second part, you've got those 20 seconds of weighted step-ups to do on each leg. Again, remember that's 20 seconds each side. In terms of the weighting for it, you can play around with where you hold your weight, because it might be that you've got a dumbbell or a kettlebell or a sandbag or a D-ball. So there's quite a lot of options there. You could have the weight on your back like this. You could go more for a front rack position. You could go for a single arm front rack, weight by the side, whatever you fancy, as long as there's a weight involved in there. And with the step up, say if I just do them from a conventional front rack position like that, we're looking for you to step up onto the box, come back down, but your front foot is going to stay on the box as you do those reps. Say I'll do 20 seconds like this, and then I'll swap over, and I'll do 20 seconds like this. Technique-wise, really simple terms with them. We just want to make sure that you're not getting tipped around too much as you're doing the step up, so we don't want you getting tipped forwards as you go up. We want to keep a consistent position through your torso. And then the other thing is just making sure you're not using the foot that's on the floor too much to press off. So I'm not bending and pushing off this leg to get me up, but as much as I can and getting my weight to my front leg, I'm pushing off the front leg. That's easier said than done, and it'll probably be that as you get more tired, you'll want to push off the bottom leg more, but just keep that in the back of your head. It will make them harder, but it's a really good way of making it more of a single leg exercise rather than using both legs to help you. The other part of this second section in here are bench dips. I'm going to show you them off the edge of the box, but they can also be done off a low table if it's strong enough, off the edge of a chair, something like that. Essentially, we want something roughly this height. I'm going to set you up so your hands are behind you. You can either have your legs out straight, or if you want to make it a little bit easier, you can bring your legs closer in, and we're just controlling down and pressing out that dip position. And we want that element of control as you do that, and get it to straight arms every time. Like I said before, with those bench dips, if you need to break them up a little bit, fair enough, they can get quite challenging. But again, aim to work for as much of the 30 seconds as you can. If you do find them particularly easy, you could potentially try adding a little bit of weight to them, but that would only really work if you were like this. So you could try and set it up so you've got a weight in your lap and go out into this sort of position like that and see if that makes it an easier box. You've got to be careful about the weight rolling off and that sort of thing. I imagine for most people, if you do 30 seconds of good, slow, controlled bench dips, you probably really need to worry about the weight too much. After that second part, you then have another 2-minute rest, and then you go on to the final section, which is a combination of weighted glute bridges and a glute bridge hold, and the front leaning rest. So with your bridges, we're looking for you to have whatever weight you've got across your waist, like that, just sat on top of your hips. Again, whatever incline you might be, it's going to be in the same position every time, and we're just looking to open your hips up, squeeze your bum towards the ceiling, control back down, squeeze your bum up, control back down, and it'll be 10 reps like that. And then once you've done your 10 reps, you're going to come up and hold for 20 seconds like that, and try and make sure as much as you can that when you're doing that hold, you're as extended through your hips as you can, so you're not starting to come down into there, but you're holding that very top position. So it'll be reps into a hold on that. The second part of that last section is your front leaning rest. So the front leaning rest, we're trying to start you somewhere around your press up position, press up into a good, solid, active shoulder position, and we're looking to try and shift your weight forward and get the weight forward over your hands from that position. In terms of scaling that to make it harder or easier, you can look at just shifting your weight backwards a little bit. So if I did it from this sort of position, that would be much easier than if I did it from this sort of position. So you can play around with that and see sort of how far forward or backwards will you have your weight, because the further forward you get it, and if you start to raise your hips, that's going to put more and more weight on the shoulders. And obviously how difficult the scaling options are will relate to how long you're able to do that hold for as well. There are your options in there, that's what we're going for. So you've got those 3 10-minute ones every time with a rest in between. So just remember, you're not going straight from one thing to another, you'll be starting on the minute every time. In terms of a warm-up, this is what I've got planned, so if you want to write it down at all, just pause the video and have a look at that. The plan with this is to start off with the round-the-clock lunges. That's what the RTC stands for. So with those round-the-clock lunges, you'll do a rep forward, like that, take my same leg out to the side, and then I'll take the same leg again, round and behind me, like that. And we call that 1 rep. So you're going to do 5 of them on one side, and you'll also do 5 on the other. Scat press-ups after that. So setting you up in here, or from your knees, squeezing the shoulders together, pressing back apart, and your arms will stay straight as you do that. So you'll go twice through that, so you'll do 5 on each leg of the round-the-clock lunges, and then you'll do 10 of the scat press-ups twice through. Once you've done that, we just want to set 10 normal air squats, so just up and down, same as you would do if you're doing in a workout. And then I've put 3 to 5 reps of your press-ups. Basically, don't do loads and tire yourself out. Get a few in, just to warm the shoulders up and get you ready. And again, they can be done from your knees as well if you want to. The main thing we're trying to warm you up towards is the first part there. So you've got the squat jumps and the press-ups in there. So most of the warm-up's focused towards that, because obviously, by the time you get to that second section, you'll already have done 10 minutes of exercise anyway. Having said that, I still want you to practice a few of the exercises that are in there before we actually get started with the workout, just to make sure you've got the right weight and you know what technique you're looking for and all that sort of thing. So I've also put into that warm-up 5 to 10 reps of step-ups, bench dips and glute bridges. So 5 to 10 reps, stepping up onto the box. You can do these with your weight just to make sure that the weight's appropriate. You'll do 5 to 10 reps of your bench dips, again just to make sure everything's set up how you want it. And then we'll also look for 5 to 10 reps of your bridges, and again that can give you an idea of whether the weight you've got is going to be appropriate for them or not. You can just sort of brush up on your technique a little bit with them. And then the very final thing, just so we've warmed up a little bit, is going to be 5 squat jumps. So you go down into a squat, big jump up out of there. We're looking for max height jumps at the start, so we want to get those 5 reps in just before you begin, so you can do some smaller jumps and build that up a little bit. So it's a nice simple warm up, and most of it's geared towards that first part in there, but obviously make sure before you start, you know what you're doing for everything else, you've got your space set up, and you know what weight is going to be appropriate for each section in there. Just a reminder, obviously what I've gone through today with this is fairly general and is aimed to apply to as many people as possible, but if you have more specific questions about scaling or technique or weight or anything like that, then please get in touch with me or one of the other coaches and we can give you some more specific guidance than what I've gone through with this today. But otherwise, enjoy your workout. I'll see you next week.